Remember how I told you guys that YeahBuddy actually helped with the lights on Rebel TRX's RAM? Well, he actually did a lot more than that. Let me go ahead and start this thing up and let you guys hear what one of the differences is. But that difference that you're about to hear is not the only difference that YeahBuddy's version of this 2020 Dodge has in store. It sounds so good. Let me give this thing a little bit of an acceleration with absolutely no talking whatsoever so you guys can hear what this thing truly sounds like. There's even a little bit of an exhaust brake sound. If you actually let off and then lightly get on the brakes, you can actually hear a legitimate exhaust brake sound, and it sounds so freaking incredible. Now, we're out here on the first map in the new main region. It's actually really good, gorgeous afternoon with a lot of snow coming down, and what we are looking at here is YeahBuddy's personal version of Rebel TRX's 2020 Dodge Ram 3500. Now, in terms of finding out more info about this truck, you guys can actually follow the link in the description box down below to check out YeahBuddy's Discord as well as YeahBuddy's YouTube channel, where once again you can find more info on how you can get your hands on this particular truck itself. And I think it goes without saying, but because of the badge on the front as well as a couple of other things, this is a PC only truck. So let's go ahead and get it back into the garage and do a little bit of customization and see what we can do with this thing. Now, this is the stiff frame version, but if you want to do a swivel frame version, you can actually do that as well. So going ahead into the customization, we have the stock engine, which is a B+ power to weight rating, which is going to be full, like, vanilla tune. That is literally straight up vanilla tune. Then there's the performance setup for S+, and the upgraded for S+ as well. They're just basically different levels of S+, so you can tailor the truck to whatever gameplay dynamic you would personally like to have. Now, once the engines are in, we can go through the gearbox as well, and you have stock, highway, off-road, balanced, which I think I'm going to sell a bunch of these. I don't know why I own that many balanced gearboxes, but I'll totally take the cash. Let's grab a highway box just to go ahead and have it in there, and then suspension-wise, this is where it gets really interesting. So we have stock, crawler, tow, and then YB Baja, and then the standard YB tune. Now, once again, I know it's sitting back a lot right now, but that can be adjusted by taking the duals off. So I think what we'll do with this one is I might set it up in terms of, I think I might set it up for a tow but I won't put the front weight on it, because what I usually end up using this thing for in the grand scheme of things is a combination of a hauling rig and a scout rig, but the tow suspension does actually have enough usable flex to be able to use it for more than just towing. Although, I kind of wonder, so let me go ahead and actually put the YB tune on this thing, and if I take the duals off, let's see what happens to the suspension itself, because if I remember correctly, it levels out a lot. So let's throw those pit bulls on there, and it actually seems like it did level out a good bit. So before we do much more, I'm going to go with the single rear wheel bed, and then I'm going to go back, and then once again, the freaking tire list just explodes. Let's throw some really specific tires that are also exclusive to this particular version of the truck on here, like, for example, these BFG KR3s, but I want to have them in a slightly bigger size. Let's also see BFG MTs. Oh, are those dually BFG MTs? Oh, dude, those look so good. Those look so good. I love the spiked lugs as well. Man, like, going through all of the wheel and tire options that are exclusive to this particular version of the truck is so incredibly cool. Back to the Baja Pros, the KR3s, the Tensors. Let's see. Let's do these BFG MTs in dually form. Let's see. Is it still sitting back a bunch? I think in order to run those BFG duals, we're going to have to switch to the tow tune in order to make it level out. But, oh my god, that looks so good. That looks so good. I know that I'm going back and forth a lot on wheel and tire options, but I think I will actually go with a, let's see, where's the 42 KR3? 42 will probably be about the right size. I think it'll be a decent size for this amount of lift, don't you? Let's see, gooseneck hitch, roof rack, toolbox, front weight. Don't need that for this particular suspension setup, but I will go ahead and throw the roof rack up there. And bed, obviously we got the single rear wheel bed. Now, bumpers-wise, you have some of the same options that you got on Rebel TRX's version, but I think we're going to probably run the custom... Well, go back and forth on that. Road armor, actually. Rear bumper, we'll keep the stock one on the back, and then I think for the rooftop, obviously we're not going to be able to run anything up there right now, and I'll leave the stock grill on it, but oh my god, look at the wheel selection. I need to go with a bigger tire. 42 isn't big enough. I know that I said it was, but I've now decided that it wasn't. 45 is a little bit better. How about 47? That'll probably be... Yeah, that looks... See, 47 looks right. I was really struggling to find the tire size that really looked right on this thing, but as far as wheels go, you've got these KMCs, you've got race lines, you've got multiple different selections from Walker Evans Racing, and then you've also got more KMC wheels in some different, like... wheel face and beadlock color combinations. I really do think the race lines look sick on this truck. I don't think you could ever go wrong with the race lines, but I also really like the Walker Evans. I know that I threw them on multiple YB rigs that I built in the past, but they just look so dang good. Now, color options wise, you have, of course, a full range of color combinations that you can choose from and color options that you can choose from, but I really do like the way that, like, I think on this particular version of the truck, they look a little bit more like a matte finish, and I think that that draws out a little bit of a different vibe with the truck itself. Now, I think I might actually go with the white on this particular version. I think it looks really good, especially with the blacked out headlights and taillights. I really do like the look that it brings to the truck. Oh, dude. Look at that. The whole blacked out front end and everything. Let's fire this thing back up, take it for a drive, and also, out here on the main map, there's actually a lot of, or at least on the first main map, because there's two, I really want to try this thing on some real, like, proper trails, because there's some trails that need a full-on crawler setup to actually, like, be successful on. Man, when you get into the power and it takes off, God, it really does squat the rear suspension out. It sounds next level. It sounds so good. Now, luckily, there is a crawler trail right outside the garage area, actually, so let's go ahead and make our way right down here around this bridge that has been taken out. Fun fact, I do not yet think there is a way to rebuild that bridge. It doesn't really seem like there's any contracts that will let you rebuild it. It doesn't seem like there's any tasks that'll let you rebuild it. So we're just going to take full advantage of the fact that there's a crawler trail right here. Are you going to move? All-wheel drive always on, diff lock always on. Man, these KR3s really weren't built for the mud, were they? Which is fine. I mean, I don't really think that they needed to be. They actually really did not need to be, but they're fine on the rocks. It's just like the mud and snow is not really their forte, let's say. And I expected that, but I didn't necessarily expect it to play that big of a role. So let's see how it does on this rocky trail. It should do fine, but it'll also give us an opportunity to really flex the thing out and actually get a good look at the suspension travel. God, I love watching the suspension move around on this thing. I really do. This is definitely the version of this truck I would go with if I was looking to do a lot of crawling, a lot of trail riding. It really does, you know, give it that little bit of an extra edge if you're going to be using it as a scouting truck / adventure truck. There's so much that goes into this rig, so much, and I'm so glad that that YeahBuddy did his own version. I really think it played out really nicely. Man, when it spools up and gets going though, oh, it's so good. Come on, there you go. Oh, easy, there's the power. Man, and then when you throw it in high, I mean, you could go full race truck with this thing if you wanted to. But let's see if the trails should get a little bit trickier in a moment. Yeah, here we go. Now, luckily, we were able to see some good flex out of it earlier, but... Ooh, okay, yep, I wasn't saving that. Ninja winch to the rescue, I guess. Let's see how much flex we can get out of it right here. It's not going to be a ton, but... Oh, my God. It's going to be enough for it to look sick, though. There we go. I love how, like, in the performance tune, if you have the front axle off the ground already, and then you just get into the power and high, it takes off. It actually rides out a wheelie, pretty much. God, and you know what's so cool about it is that it actually fits into a vanilla game environment really well without looking out of place. I really do love what he's done here, and it's actually amazing that he's made it look so, like, top-notch quality, and yet it doesn't look out of place at all. It doesn't look like it was just like dropped in from like another world. It genuinely looks like it could totally be a part of this space and not really have any issues at all. Now, I know that you can use this variant of the truck for towing, of course, but I've decided to use this one as more of my scout/crawler rig because, you know, I did show you guys Rebel TRX's version of this truck recently as well, and that one I feel like I tend to use more for the towing, whereas the YB version, I tend to use that one more for rock crawling, trail riding, and things like that. Now, I do want to put this thing through a little bit more of a test before we finish off. Can I save it? I saved it! Thank God I saved that. I was a little worried for a second that I wasn't going to be able to save it, but there's a really nice rock wall over here, and I know that they're not the grippiest rocks in the world, but I want to see how this thing does in terms of scaling them. So let's say, for example, this is going to be our line, and I'm going to start easing it up. Really didn't want to do that, did it? All right, I need a different angle of approach. Okay, it doesn't like that. But you know what? Since it doesn't really give us much of an option for approach angles here, I'm gonna see what I can make happen. Ooh, that's sketchy. It wants to climb it. It's just a little bit of a sketch spot for it. It's like right on the verge of being able to move. It's right on the verge of it, though. I can just bump it. There you go. Bump it. Ooh, bump it up the hill. Man, these rocks really are like some of the slickest rocks I've seen lately. Okay, well, that was a terrible choice of a place to actually test out the rock crawling capability, and I know these aren't necessarily rock tires either, but man, I feel like those rocks were made slick on purpose, and that was not the truck's fault at all. And I don't blame the truck for that one bit. I mean, we all know that these stock rocks are not the grippiest thing in the world, but the only thing is, like, some of them are grippier than others, and they really don't tell you which ones are going to be grippy and which ones are going to be slippy. And I kind of wish they would make it a little bit more obvious as to which ones were going to be grippy and which ones wouldn't be. But, you know, either way, at the end of the day, this thing is still an absolute beast. It's a genuine monster machine of a truck, and it's such a interesting remix, almost, if you will, on the Rebel TRX version as opposed to, you know, this one right here. Now, if you guys enjoyed this look at this truck, remember you can check it out by following the link to the YeahBuddy Discord in the description box down below. And if you're new to my channel and you would like to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.